Welcome to Expressions with Coach Toriso and Mali.
Hey guys. Welcome to Expressions. This is Coach Toriso, right? Your NLP life coach, your personal mastery trainer. Obviously, I'm not alone. I'm with my coach over there. Hey, coach.
Hey, my name is Malebo John Zindi. I am a holistic wellness coach and accredited meditation practitioner and also an author of 2 amazing books called The Journey and Confessions. And welcome to Expressions today. For the month of July, we are talking everything relationships. And today we are talking about romantic relationships, which some people find it very hard to maintain or maybe very hard to have because, hey, you cannot tell about another person's intentions. So we have 2 power force today. And the is Mapula Legodi, who is a confidence activator. And we have Thabo Maatjie, who is a marriage counselor. So today we have all these people who are going to tell us how to maintain a good relationship, maybe, and Thabo will tell us how then you take this relationship into marriage. So Mapula, maybe introduce yourself to our audience and tell us what is it that you do.
Hi everyone, my name is Mapula Legodi, the confidence activator. I speak, I coach, and I brand. So yeah, that's what I do. I'm also Mrs. Polokwane 2020. And yeah, in brief, let's just leave it there. Thank you for having me today.
All right, okay. And Thabo, may you introduce yourself to our audience before we start?
Good day, ladies. Thank you for having me. Thabo Maatjie, and I'm a relationship and marriage advisor. I'm also an author of a book called The Love Talk. That is where I'm just about love. I love love, I love life, and I believe that is why I'm here today.
That's wonderful. And guys, we have a session with Thabo, which is free for people who are married. And hey, that session will, and it reveals a lot of things that you thought you were fine with your partner. So if you really want to be in that group, it's on Zoom. So if you want to be in that group, you can always join us. Just maybe comment there and tell us, hey, I want to be in that group, then it's okay. So Mapula, I want to start with you first. So here is Malebu, who is not married. Let's just say I'm not married and I am looking for a boyfriend. What is those things that I need to look for? And I'm looking for a boyfriend with an intention that later on I will get married. So what is it that I need to look out for? What are the things that I need to be observant of? Because you cannot sometimes tell other people's intention, but you can always tell where the red flags are.
Mm-hmm. So, right, when you want to get married, right, when you're looking for a partner, I always talk about be very clear from the onset. What are we doing here? It should be, especially now, the season that we live in, there's so many things that are happening and there's so many reasons why people want to get into relationships, and your why is what makes it work. So that for example, when people want to get in, people will tell you, oh, he must be financially stable, he must have the list and stuff. Fine, you can have a list. Ladies would say have a checkbox. Yeah, and then they're checking the ticking. You check list, and then they're ticking the box. He's tall, he's dark, he's got the money, and he's got all these things. But now, when and they always lie and say, no, it's not about the money, but what does financial stability mean to you? Because people get into relationship without firstly defining what things really mean to them. When you say, I want this, I want that, I want that, do you really know what it means to you? So that when you see it in different forms, you are still able to identify it. So I say, be very clear with yourself as to what you want, the kind of things that you want in a person, the kind of person that you are. So what is important is know who you are, what you are about, Also, I'm a born again Christian. I'm a pastor. So what I will also say, issues of ministry comes in. You know, where you want to go, where the Lord has called you, what the Lord has called you for, the kind of career that you want to pursue. Those things for me help you identify, or this is it. You know, this is what I'm going in for, because that will then support.
Okay, what just happened there?
It makes it easier for you to say, yes, this is what I want. No, this is not what I want. So be very clear with who you are. Be very clear with your intentions. Intentions must be clear from the onset, and also know your deal breakers. Your deal breakers are key, because you need to know when to say goodbye. You need to know when this is not going to work, you know, because sometimes you invest so much, there's so much time investment, emotional investment, and a lot of investments in relationships. So you need to understand those kind of things that will also assist you to say, okay, let me bow out, or let me stay, let's make this work. And the things that will bring you freedom, because remember, when you get into marriage, this person must have, you should have seen, remember, okay, firstly, actually, what is important, people think you get to know, other people who say, hey, we're getting to know each other, hey. Wow, guys, it doesn't really work. Cut it, you know. It's always already. I always tell them, cut it. You know, you need to be very clear with yourself. The rest of the stuff, I've been married for 8 years, but I am still getting to know my husband. So getting to know is a process that you'll never say, I'm getting to this marriage because I know this person. No. It's a decision. So you must now be ready to stick to your decision no matter what comes, because it's all about, it's a marriage, it's a decision tactic. I always say it's a daily decision taking, whether you do it consciously or unconsciously, but you are deciding daily, or I actually really want to be with this person, I really want to be with this person, I really want to be with this person. So yeah, it's knowing you and decide. Know you and decide if you want to stay or make this work. Yeah.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. But I hear you, right? You're saying you first must know who you are. Let's say I know who I am and I know what I want, right? But I keep attracting, the not so compatible, if lack of a better word, I keep attracting the non-compatible partners. However, I know what I want and I know what I'm looking for. So here's this guy, he's playing to be, you know, all this, or maybe it is just me that is not looking into what I wanted to see. I'm looking at the other thing. What is it actually that I can, before that, what would make me now be attracted to this type of people? Is it something that is in me, or is it something that I am not? I don't know how to explain it, but to get me where I'm going.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Do you want to change question?
Yeah, look, knowing who you are would actually drive you to understand your pattern in decision making. Because at the end of the day, you may know yourself, and you, like you are saying, you attract wrong people that you're not compatible with. But then you need to ask yourself, what is it that attracts them to you? Because remember, knowing yourself has a lot to do with the balance between your spirit, your soul, and your body. So now, if those are in line with one another, no matter who he is and how cunning he might be, trust me, he's not going to be able to get onto you, because the spirit inside of you firstly will say, no, I cannot relate to this person. You will repel that particular person. But if you find that perhaps there is still a balance lacking between your spirit, soul, and body, if somebody comes to poke your soul, then he might get in, because the spirit is on its own, the body is on its own. If somebody comes attracted to your body, then they might be able to get into you, because the body is on its own, the soul and the spirit, they're on another own. So you need to make sure that there is that connection and a healthy relationship within yourself. the spirit, your body, and your soul and your body. There must be that healthy relationship. And remember, it's all about the spirit saturating your soul. Remember, in most cases, I know that you ladies, you know, when it comes to the soul part, when they say ladies are complicated, they're talking about the soul part, your needs, your wants, your thoughts, your feelings, your desires. That is where the commotion is. And if there is no balance in that area, trust me, you might find yourself always attracting wrong boys, because your soul is still trying to figure out, how do I submit to the spirit? How do I get the spirit to minister to me? Now, if you are in that particular type of a setup, trust me, your body is going to submit. The body always submits to what the soul wants. That's it. Your thoughts, your emotions, your wants. That is what the body has got no control. The only thing that controls the body is your soul. So if your soul is not in control, trust me, the body will just give in and it's going to suffer as a result of the imbalances that are in your soul.
Wow, I love it. I love that because, you know, when prior to that, you know, obviously I got married in 2016. I met my husband in 2015. So prior to that, I used to manifest people in my life that I didn't really want, right? And I really, it was like, you know, I was manifesting things that I don't want. And I was like, no, I wanted a guy who's like this and this and this and this. Until the time when I decided to know who I am, and beyond just knowing that, okay, this is my label and I want 17,000 in my account and things like that, you know, defining the spiritual part of me, like Thabo was saying. And before, I didn't even have to do anything. I remember the last relationship that I had was it was in shambles. Like, I didn't really want to be in there. And I decided to end it. I decided to say, no, but I don't want you in my life anymore. Let's just cut this. I'm going to be single until I find somebody who's going to speak to my soul. And believe you me, when I found my husband, I was not like, you know, thinking, is this guy okay? You know, is this, like, it was like my spirit was speaking to his spirit. I don't know how to explain that. I don't have words for it, but it was like, you know what, this is the guy. And 5 months later, we got married. Just like you said, Mapula, that you cannot know a person saying that, yeah, now we know each other, now we can get married. Because, hey, when you are in marriage now, things are coming out, you know, are coming out. So, yes, I really love the fact that you're saying, Thabo said, the spiritual part of you, and then you also said that you have to know who you are. What are the other things that we need to know about marriage and relationships for people who are not married, and for people who are already in marriage? Some people are in, you know, not stable marriages. You know, the husband goes there, the wife goes there. What are the other things that we need to know about this?
Let me chip in, right? So I think what is important also towards that, or in the, we'll just talk about them interchangeably. So you are working for a team, right? And if you are playing for a team, it means we even before even in marriage, we are working to check, how is this team going to work? Remember, a team comes not with the same players. We have a striker, we have a goalkeeper, we have, you know, backline and stuff like that. And that's how this team is going to work. This team of two.
I'm impressed.
Look, this team, the soccer player. My husband loves soccer so much, so I had to come to the party. So that's what I'm talking about now. So the team, you need to know, am I playing backwards or am I playing forward, right? So for example, I'm gonna give just a typical example. If I am very industrious, or sometimes some ladies really don't mind doing their garden, don't mind changing the light bulbs and what. And then the husband, you might find out, is not really there. And we don't really have to make the next person feel less of a man, because there are certain manly things that he can't do or he doesn't have interest in, So when you understand the team that you are playing for and the kind of people that you guys are, we're doing this together. Actually, today I had a conversation with one lady of how the pressure that women want to put on men, also when it comes to issues of provision and when it comes to issues of taking care of me. You must take care of me. Like, you must do this for me. The expectations, let me rather use the word expectations. So there are so many expectations that society has set that are working against us, because now what Malebu was saying, that she would manifest things that she did not understand of herself. It's also issues of expectation, like how society conditions us around marriage, around relationships. Those things then affect your thinking pattern, they affect your mindset, they affect your expectations. Now, you find that, also in marriage, the Bible says submit to your own husband, your own, right? Underlining the word own. And if your own is nothing like Thabo, it's okay. Understand that I'm not married to Thabo. My own can't speak well, My own doesn't have a job that pays this figure, And then you are able to be comfortable and be happy in the space and in the relationship that you find yourself in. Because sometimes we put in so much expectation, unrealistic expectation, and this is why also we have a lot of divorce and a lot of relationships that don't work, because we have unrealistic expectations from movies or expectations from friends. So because sometimes your friends affect how you think, and you might find out those people, one of the men that they're talking about, or it's not the men that you are with. So you need to be very realistic with the situation that you find yourself in, and you see how you work around it. Then there's freedom. We're happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then is it good to have expectations though? Let's say you're starting a relationship. Mm-hmm. Should I have an expectation of what I want from my partner and what he would expect from me? Is that good? Because I know the statement that says we don't get hurt by other people, but we get hurt by our expectations. But then is it good then to have expectations from my partner? Do we talk about those expectations, or we are hoping they will meet us where we need them? Or I don't know, do we really have to talk about expectations?
Expectations are good, expectations are important, but they need to be realistic. For example, if your husband doesn't earn a certain salary, you can't expect a Gucci bag. You can't expect a Gucci handbag from a certain salary. What you need to do, go to a normal store, get yourself a normal nice handbag. So those are simple things that you have expectations that are aligned to where you find yourself and where you're in. So yeah.
Just to add on that, yes, you need to have expectations as a person in a relationship. But now the problem is expectations that are realistic before you get into the relationship. And there are those that you will never, ever them, because while you are in the relationship, you will learn what type of a person you are with. So let's say you want to start a relationship with somebody, and remember, there's just so much of a difference which people have lost today. We are lost in meanings nowadays. There are people who take dating as a relationship, and they take a relationship like it's a marriage, whereby in dating you do things that you're supposed to be doing in relationships, and in relationships you do things that you're supposed to be doing in marriage. And if you don't get to any of those levels, if you don't go from one level to another, then you become heartbroken. So what you need to do is your realistic expectations needs to actually define who you are. They need to be based on who you are more than what you expect out of the other person. Because remember, when you get into a relationship, you are getting into it to give more than you want to receive. But in most cases, a lot of people want expectations, they're expecting to get, they're expecting to receive. And in that case, they don't give anything because all they are used to doing is to receive and receive. Now, if they don't manage to get what they want, then they become unhappy. Remember, in a healthy relationship or even in a healthy marriage, happiness is not as important as your joy. Now, expectations draw more of your happiness, and if they are not met, then you will always be unhappy in a marriage. But when you dwell on joy, remember, joy is a spiritual attribute. When you have that joy, you know that my man or my woman cannot be able to do certain things for me, but I'm still content within me. I still love him. I still love her for who they are, not what I'm expecting them to be. Now, and if you find that your expectations cannot be met, you need to influence them. Because most of the time, we just expect people to do things they've never known or they've got no idea what you want. So if you expect me to behave like a male and I cannot behave like a male, I'm a man, I have to be a man, then you will always be disappointed, because at the end of the day, you are not discussing, you are not communicating your expectations. Malebu, remember there was a time when we were talking on our sessions to say, if I want this hand to be put here, and I see that you don't do it, I have to pick up that hand and say, baby, please hug me. You know, it is how it has to go. We need to influence the expectations. I think maybe something that you need to look at before you get into a relationship is the deal breakers. And the deal breakers shouldn't be things that says, you know, he's got money, he's driving this kind of a car, he's tall, dark, and handsome. No, because you are not going to live with that forever. Trust me. In a minute that can go, but those deal breakers should be something that speaks to your spirit, something that speaks to your heart, something that you can relate to. The day you actually lose interest in makeup, will he still stay? Yeah. The day you lose your hips, or maybe you change in a body shape, you know, you grow into it, will he be saying, this is my girl, no matter how she looks, I love her? I was having the same conversation with my wife this morning. She said, love, I know that we always talk about this, but why do people fall out of love? I said it's simply because people are not willing to grow. People are not willing to make a daily decision to say, I love this girl. As she grows, I'm with her. I'm growing with her. You know, we have to get to that point where we don't base our expectations on temporary things, on emotions. Emotions are temporary in most cases, on things that don't matter, material things. They are temporary, those things. You need to base your expectations, for example, on the person's maturity, on the person's spiritual, mental, and emotional stance. Where is he? Why? How does he relate to certain social issues? What would he do when he's angry? Is he someone who retaliates by fighting? Does he go out? Does he leave you? Does he go and seek comfort in the arms of another woman? You need to think about all those things. Let your expectations be based on what you're going to be living with should you get married with.
Or they're getting half salaries, or there's no salaries at all. And I know a few friends of mine who are married, they would most of the time leave home early because at home is not organized, because they can't provide as much as they used to. So now how can we encourage a fellow brother out there who is in a marriage but he can't provide as much as he used to, or he can't even provide? And how can we encourage a wife in the house to stick around the marriage, to support everything that is happening? I think I didn't know how to encourage my brothers, you know, but I would like to hear from a man perspective, how can we, you know, bring the message across to them?
You know, let me put it to you this way. Sometimes we as men we plant seeds that we don't know that at a later stage they might come back to be thorns that will pinch us, you know. I get Mapula, you know, you know, you know, that thing when it sticks on you, believe me, it goes to the bone and it's like that. You have to put 2 of the thorns in your foot. What happens is that if when I met my wife, I impressed her with material things. I impressed her with the male in me, the sex in me, the fun in me, you know, but I did not engage her on the man in me, my content, my faithfulness, my goodness as a man. Now, imagine if I lose money, whereas I impressed you with money. You're gonna go when the imagine impressed you with my biceps and triceps and everything. What happens when they go off and I'm no longer interested in training? You're gonna go and look for someone with biceps. So what we need to do, especially as men, I'm saying any woman will stay with you depending on how you minister to her spirit and her soul. Not what you do for her, not what you always bring, not what you give to her, but who you are. So if you want a woman who would love you for who you are, then put yourself out there as who you are, not what you are and what you can give. So a whole lot of us guys, we even lose our sense of identity. We even lose interest in becoming the man that you are. We become insecure without my wife behaving anyhow, but simply because I've attached my identity to what I can do and what I can give to her. So if that is lost, I'm also losing a part of me with those things. This is one of the reasons why you find a lot of guys killing women, killing girlfriends and their wives, because he's been doing so much for her. Now when he can't do it, or else when she decides to leave him, he says, you took a part of me, whereas that is not the, you only took what you gave to her and satisfied. Now you want to kill her because she stole a part of you and is running away with it, and you forget that you gave it willingly. But imagine when as a man I am giving who I am to my wife, my spiritual and mental stance, my emotions, every time I open up to her. Imagine the type of comfort that she's going to be in to say, I know this guy, even if anything is faithful, this guy is content, this guy is good with or without material things. So as men, I know most of them don't want to listen to this, they don't want to hear this, but I say sometimes we plant seeds that will come back to stab us, and we lose our insecurity, we lose our sense of identity because we attach it to different things that are not who we are, but simply what we can do. Please advise your on that.
Like we have limited time. No.
I know with Thabo, and I see Mapula because now I'm meeting Mapula for the first time. This is the same. I think it's a petty thing, and my friend there, Toriso, also, you know. So we'll keep on talking until I don't know. So yes, the thing that you've mentioned, I think both of you have mentioned that, like Thabo is saying that men sometimes they attract us with what they have. Right, and they come with those cars, you know. Now you like, my man is driving an M6, you know, he's way. But those things, it's not permanent. Sometimes things happen in life, and then you just see yourself staying back, go, you know, somewhere in Tembisa and all these things. And sometimes with men, then they just hit rock bottom because they don't even want to associate with women anymore because now they have associated themselves with what they had. And previously in my relationships, I don't know, you know, again, expectations, going back to expectations, a lot of society has put pressure on us as women and also on men, right? One thing that I can say is that on women, I used to be told that you are so beautiful, you need to date a guy who's this and this and this. And I went to all those people with titles, with all those things, because I believed that because of how I look and how my body is, then I need to
associate
to those people. But I just decided along the way to see that even lawyers, even engineers, they are still human beings, and they have errors. It's not because they have studied this far then they can behave this far. So when I started dating my husband, who is a DJ, people were saying like, how can you date a DJ? You know, because again, there is a misconception that DJs like girls. So how can you, a woman like you who's a life coach, who's doing so much things, date a DJ? Which I think with so many women is a problem, because now when you are dating someone, people want you to say, I used to introduce my boyfriends as, yeah, my boyfriend is Thabo and he's a lawyer, or my boyfriend is because I wanted people to accept him. Oh, he's a lawyer. Wow, it means that he has money. But now when you are introducing your boyfriend as a DJ, they're like, are you serious? Can you even introduce that type of a person to us? So I think when it comes to dating, then that part also, we have to let go of it and let go of titles and stop dating because of what they do. Because I mean, a DJ, it can change. And my husband was not only a DJ, it's just that he's famously known as a DJ. But it can change. I mean, a DJ can go and study law. A DJ can go and be a doctor and things like that. So again, with men, they come to us and they show us these beautiful things. We don't know about another part of them. Then when those things are no longer there, then we like, I'm going, you know, there's nothing that I can do because, I mean, there's no money. I came here because of the money. So I think those are the things that we need to understand when it comes to relationships, that you may meet somebody who doesn't have money, but in a relationship, while the relationship grows, they can have money. And those are not the only things, like Thabo was saying. Give your person mental, spiritual, and emotional, because those are the things that you cannot take away from the person. So I think that's my bit of information that I can put.
I have one last question, right? Regarding love. Thabo, you said, well, now everything is about love. So is love enough to sustain a marriage or relationship? If I were to meet a guy who would give me all the love, but financially zero, would you suggest that I go for that? Will love sustain? You know, I don't know how deep love is, how acceptable love is.
You know, Mapula Toriso one saying, so go try kisha mo very soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me just put this to you. What is your definition of love? Because there's just so many definitions of what we think love is, but it is not. Now, from a biblical perspective, you can see that love has nothing to do with money given to you or doing this for you and stuff. You go to 1 Corinthians 13, it gives you exactly what love is, which is my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical stance. It just says, this is how you need to love somebody. So now, when you get into a relationship and somebody says, I love you, it is important that you ask them, what is your definition of love? What do you mean when you say you love me? Because for some, there are those, I'm just going to give you a typical example between the difference between a man and a male. When a male says, I love you, he simply says, I love your body. That's all I want. You know, when I love you, already he has his mind on the type of woman he wants. He wants to marry you. He wants to make you. He already has all that in his mind, looking at you from a man's perspective. So now, if there's a lot of people who says, yeah, well, love does not pay bills. Love is not supposed to pay bills. But imagine when you pay the bills out of love. What does that do? Imagine when we meet, before I even marry you, when we are in a relationship and say, I love this woman, I want to marry her. And I already decide, you know what, with the few cents that I'm making, Bona, bring all your little debts here. Let me see if I can consolidate them for you. Let me clear them. Now, I am doing that out of love. You understand that? I am not using it to say, this is how I love you. This is my love for you. I'm not saying money is my love for you, but I'm concerned about your well-being as an individual. So now you have to ask yourself, what is your definition of love? And, you know, in the olden days, I remember, I hope my wife doesn't hear this, you know, when we used to propose, you know, in those days, 90s and stuff, you would actually write a little bit of a letter to say, hey, I love you, or you will tell her, I love you. And she will take the whole week not responding, or else ask you a question, why do you love me? And nowadays, you guys don't no longer do that. I send you a WhatsApp message, hey, how are you doing? Already we are dating. So now you need to figure out what is it that defines love for you. If you say he's a good man, he's content, he's faithful, he's that, but he doesn't have money, and you know, I don't feel like I love him. In actual fact, you've got no love for money. And that's where the difference is. Now, you need to define your own love. How do you define it? I define it from my spiritual perspective. I define it from my soul, that I have seen this is who Thabo is. And if I give that to you and you don't take it, it's not going to be my problem, because your love is attached to what I am or what I can do for you. So that is not love. It's just temporary lust over things.
Yeah. Okay, let me come in as well. Thabo, I like you. I like you. Look, I can speak with you forever. Because we speak from the same mind. I really like that everything is going together. We are speaking the same things. But also, Ishia, it's decisions that keeps, or a marriage. You decide every day that I love this person. Because like what you say, as you were speaking, I was like, what is love? What is love for you? But what also works is the then have to question that, or am I this, am I this, am I doing that? When you are supposed to say, hey, I'm falling out of love, and what, you then question yourself. But what is important is that relationships are kept by decisions. Marriages are kept by decisions. Also, going back to what you were saying, Malebo, speaking of our brothers losing jobs and what. So my husband wrote a book, and the book's title is Who Wears the Pants, right? And the title is very interesting because everyone thinks, I mean, obvious, the man wears the pants, right? And that's why where issues of provision and what the expectation of what this guy must do, what then comes in. But now the interesting thing is that what we are addressing in the book is who is willing to put in the work. You know, whether my husband is working or not, it doesn't mean my husband is not working right now, and happy. You know, I don't know. Yeah, no, you'll definitely get the book. But it speaks about the 21st century kind of husbands that we have, you know, and then it addresses issues of what you should look into. And then for me, those are key things that at what these people have and who they are, and what then we get into relationships with who they are more than what they have. Then you can wear the pants, you know, your husband can wear the pants. So both of you wear the pants and you make this work together. So whether you are bringing in a higher check, he's got less or he doesn't have anything, there's no issue there. You know, it's a non-starter. What is important is that the team is here, and the team is here to play for the team, you know. So let's make proper decisions and be there for the team.
And can I add something on that, Maleba? I don't know if we've got time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, you know, it's unfortunate that there's a whole lot of people who are in what I call transactionalship, and they think they are in relationship or marriage. So basically, yeah, I mean, there are people in situationship, transactional ships, you know, there's a whole lot of ships that they are in, and they think they are in love, you know, but they are not. You know, if you don't believe that love is actually enough to sustain a relationship or marriage, then perhaps you need to look at, am I in a transactional ship right here? You know, should he lose his source of income, regardless of whether you find him being a millionaire or not? But should something happen and then he loses that, will I stay? Those are the questions that you have to ask yourself. You need to have that conversation within yourself. You know, should I maybe lose my source of income? Do I expect him to still treat me the way I would treat him if he loses his source of income? So sometimes we actually relate on the basis of our own insecurities and imbalances. So when you are in a marriage with someone who thinks or believes like that, whereby, you know, should this get lost, I'm also lost, then you must know, you are, somebody said, you know, a lot of marriages, in actual fact, they're just hanging on a string. I don't know, a string of what. It could be a string of finances, it could be a string of sex, it could be a string of anything. And the moment it goes down, that marriage will just like nobody's business. So we need to be careful. Remember the foundation. Like I said the very same thing to my wife. I said, loving someone, it's a daily decision. You have to it on daily basis. Yes, okay, today I see there's a bit of you know, marks or stretch mark on her tummy, but I love this girl. It's a conversation I have within myself. It's not something that I'm expecting her to bring out. You know, she might feel insecure about gaining cover. She might feel insecure, but you, I saw a white hair here, but I'll still be there and say, love, Mona, you are still the hottest chick ever. Why? Because her attractability has got nothing to do with how I love her. I love the woman and the person that she is, to a point whereby even if it's the heart that I'm left with, I'm still gonna love it. So imagine if I'm only left with the body, but I don't have the heart. What is gonna happen? Then I am lost in the translation of love. So we just need to know, do you wanna be in a situationship, transactional ship, or you wanna be in a relationship and you wanna be in a marriage? That's it.
I want to be in marriage.
Yeah.
You know, we learn every day, guys. We learn every day. As I've mentioned when we started that we have a session every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for married people, and we just sit there, and sometimes you realize that I thought I have a problem, but everybody is experiencing it, so it's not actually a problem. And most of the time it's a communication thing. Like when we sit there with Thabo, because he's the one he's our coach on that. But basically we talk about our marriage journey, and we have topics on the day. But you'll find out that actually the reasons why even relationships, I believe, that they break, it's because we do not communicate. We do not voice out the things that we want. You know, you just expect that because he's a man, he has to know that I need this, and because it's a woman, she must know that I need this. You know, those type of things. So this is what we have been talking about, and the journey still goes on. So guys, I don't know, Tori, so is there any other question that maybe you want to ask, and then we can close off? Because I thought it was going to be 40 minutes. We have been here for 50 minutes.
I am jealous of this the marriage talks. So it's unfair. It's unfair that the singles, so they never have their own you know, seminars or talks. I mean, because we need talks like that as well. Maybe we single women, our expectations are way too high. Maybe our are just not realistic. Maybe, like, you know, we keep thinking everything is here. But then when you talk to other people, then you relate like, whoa, let me go back and try to, you know, really think about what I am expecting of other people. So Thabo, you must also, guys, try to organize some senior stuff there. Hey, Mapula, you guys must do that. I mean, when I go to my Facebook timeline, 60% of my friends are single and they want to be in relationships. So relationship e ba trapa like, you know, like ke mathata these days. When you guys got married, then things were much easier. Right now, it's more difficult because we are more into materials, we are more into, there's a whole lot of things that are happening that maybe you guys in marriage, they're not aware of what is happening out there. And I know that a whole lot of people want to get into marriage, but because of the way things are now, they tend to think different. So if we can get some talks, some seminars, some, you know, these kind of things about singles, whether men or women, it will be much appreciated. I know I'm speaking like this. I know I'm not the only one. There are a whole lot of single friends that I have, but we think different. Okay, we think different, and such things will be very, very much helpful. So please think of that, guys. We need that.
Can I just look?
Let's put it on her, Tori. So now on, you know, people that you can have to address this type of issues. Please do organize these Zoom meetings. Do organize this. Just invite us. We'll be happy to come and support you. At least they will know that, you know what, Toriso is also on the journey that we are on, and it is seeking information. And believe me, whatever that you're going through as single people, trust me, they're not as much different than we are experiencing in marriage. The only difference is that you are single, we are married.
We are married,
and discuss all these things, you will realize that when the moment you get into a relationship, you experience the same thing. Remember, we were single before. Runa, the only blessing is that we know what's going through, and then, but now we are in a different setup. When you look at it, it's the same thing. So now I'm saying, invite these people. Perhaps we can going live on Facebook to actually just invite everyone on Facebook to say, guys, we're going to have this session. It's going to be live on Facebook as well, whatever network that we use. Let us be there so that people can pose questions. I once arranged a singles session, and believe me, not many came forth. I don't know whether it was cold or it was not. I don't know. That was way before. But now you're thinking, but guys, every time you actually ask me to create an opportunity where you guys can sit and ask questions, and I said, look, come, let us do it. Perhaps the social media can help. Toriso, you've got 60% of people who are single and wants to hear this message. Do that, even if it means today or tomorrow. Guys, we are having this Zoom session. Please join us. We will be able to assist you.
Yeah, no, we are definitely available for this. And also, I always find it interesting how single people have conversations that, oh, because you guys are married, you don't understand, you know? and I'm like, what don't we understand, you know? And also some will come and say, you got married young, you don't understand. And I'm thinking, but it was a decision that I made, and somewhere you did not make that decision. Sure, there was someone who pursued you at the time, but you did not make the decision to, you were not ready to commit. And most single people, they're just afraid of commitment more than anything.
They know way than we do, Batuba.
Yeah. They don't commit. But look, we are ready. Let's talk about these things. Let's have these conversations so that we're able to help the single people and make them realize that, like what Thabo is saying, there's not much of a difference. The thing is just how you want to come in it, what you want to do when you get there. Because actually, you single people have more time to accomplish more things than us who are married. So make the most of it now and decide to commit, and then you move. Because as a unit, there are things that we're accomplishing way more than you guys because you are a single person. But there are also certain things that you need to accomplish as a single person before you get married. So the right conversation, So the other thing is issues of how we behave in these relationships that we get into. That also, and it messes up your mind because you keep dating a lot of people, then you'll be thinking, maybe I don't want to do this, maybe I don't want to do this. But yeah, we should have the right conversations for single people, and also advices of what can you do to live a single life. You know, because
I have the topic already. I have a topic.
Yeah,
already.
yeah. Just set a day.
I have a topic already. And you're right. You are right about us being scared of commitment. We are scared of committing wrong. We are scared of committing wrong because we don't know. You know, but then I think that has already been covered when you guys said that you really can't know a person, you know. And I think we use that as an excuse to say we're still trying to get to know each other. But you guys have sealed it today that you either decide today or not. It's a matter of a choice. It's a matter of every day when you wake up, you choose. So I've learned quite a lot.
So I'm married for 10 years now. And trust me, knowing someone is an everyday process. Every day she can wake up today and be moody, and she can wake up tomorrow and not be moody. I can also wake up today and feel like I just want to leave, and I can wake up the following morning, you know. So when it comes to the issue of knowing, you actually have to prepare yourself to learn every day, to learn your spouse every day. Now, I don't think you are really scared of commitment. You are not. You are scared of making wrong choices. And that own means that you don't trust your own judgment. So, and if you don't trust your own judgment, you are not going to be able to make the right decisions. So you have to say, look, Toriso, this is who you are, and this is the type of relationship you want. This is the type of man you're looking for. And there are certain things you don't have to compromise on. If you say, I need a man who is in touch with his spirituality, don't compromise on that. Now your problem is that you think, well, not everyone is perfect. You know, maybe he might. You want to try and make me what I am not, just so I can fit in your world. And I'm going to hate you. I'm going to hate you. I'm going to hate you. I'm going to break your heart. I'm going to disappoint you because you're trying to make me what I am not. So you need, Bona, don't worry about people saying, hey, Luana, you are too choosy. You need to be too choosy. You have to say, look, I keep telling women, you guys have got so much power and influence when it comes to relationships. Because without you, yes, there cannot be a relationship, there cannot be a marriage, there cannot be kids, there cannot be nothing. But if you give you, or with the wrong influence, you can ever give in this life. If you miss that, you will continue to blame the guys. Hey, this man. Whereas you're choosing males who just come and get what they want, they go. Who just come cheat on you, they just go. You know, so you need to understand that you hold that power. God has given you that anointing. It is yours. It's not ours. I'm the one who's you ladies. What's wrong?
Also, another thing is that change is inevitable. Change, we can't avoid change. Don't come and say, oh, he changed since we got married. Look, situations forces us to change, and it's inevitable. And also another thing that I also said on my welcome video, well, the introduction video, was that the perfect one is not the opposite of your previous ones. Because problem is we were trying to correct the previous mistakes. Or if he was abusive, okay, let me look for one who doesn't. Or if he was harsh, let me look for a soft one because it. So just be careful of not getting the opposite, trying to correct the opposite of your previous relationships. But otherwise, dance, guys, in marriage.
Like you guys are busy piercing through.
Wow, you know, with Thabo and Mapula, we can't even finish this. You know, we can talk more. I know. This is what we do every Monday. We log off, we log on because this man can talk the whole. All right, guys. So your last closing words and where people can find you. So when you close, you say this, and then where people can find you.
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my closing line would be issues of decision. Just decide. Marriage is about taking decision, or relationships are about taking decisions. And my name is Mapula Legodi. I'm your confidence activator. I coach, I speak, and I brand. I'm on Facebook as Mapula Legodi, on Instagram as Mapula_Legodi, on YouTube as Mapula Legodi. And well, yeah, the numbers. Well, that's okay.
We can still get you from Facebook and
yeah, from the social media lines. Yeah.
What is your closing remark, and where can people find you?
Well, now Facebook Thabo Maatjie, and I've got a Facebook page, The Love Talk with Thabo Maatjie. And Instagram, I'm Thabo_Maatjie. And I just want to say to you good people, look, love is beautiful. Love is just so amazing. So the only thing that you need to do in order to understand love is to know you. If you know yourself, you will make the right judgment. You will trust in yourself. You will understand yourself. You will be content within yourself. The spirit, the soul, and your body must be in one line, must be in sync. They must be in a good relationship, good and healthy relationship, so that you don't find yourself with the wrong person, so you don't making wrong to be with the wrong people. So I know you are made for love, you are made through love, and you will make it in love.
Oh yeah, and Teresa,
Nice.
today I think, hey, you know, they have fried you, my girl. They have fried you, these people. What is the last words today?
No, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate your insight, your talk, your knowledge, your wisdom, and everything that you have shared. I am going to organize that single kind of like thing, and I'm going to invite you as my hosties, okay, to run this thing, and then so that we can build a better relationships out there, you know, so that we can build better there. Single parenting is not easy. So having these kind of talks, maybe it will bring us there.
To that
Moments
level.
there, and then we'll be fine. Thank you guys so much. That's it, my level. Thank you.
Thank you guys, and please don't forget to share this video with your friends, and also to like our page. Thank you guys. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.